On June 7th, the city of Paramount, California erupted into chaos. Its streets transformed overnight into a battleground that would capture the nation's attention. What began as a protest against ICE raids, sparked by mounting frustration over immigration enforcement, quickly spiraled out of control as anger and fear collided in the darkness. Smoke and tear gas choked the air near a Home Depot, where federal vehicles faced off against masked protesters. The acrid haze blurred the line between protest and open conflict. Flashbangs exploded, bottles and rocks flew, tensions that had simmered for years finally boiled over, unleashing a torrent of pent-up rage and desperation. ICE, backed by DHS and Border Patrol, insisted they were targeting dangerous criminals for deportation, but their presence felt overwhelming and militarized. To many residents, this was more than law enforcement. It was an aggressive federal incursion into their community, a show of force that stoked fear and resentment. The community's initial response was peaceful. Signs, chants, and legal observers filled the streets as families and neighbors stood together in solidarity. But as night fell, the mood shifted. Federal agents advanced, firing tear gas and pepper balls to disperse the crowd, their tactics escalating the confrontation. Panic erupted. Some protesters hurled rocks and fireworks, a car burned, and an American flag was set ablaze, symbols of a community pushed to its breaking point. What began as a demonstration for justice became a violent street battle, leaving Paramount shaken, its streets scarred, and its people searching for answers. The city's wounds would not heal quickly. Broken glass and burned-out cars were only the surface scars of a deeper trauma. The events of that night would ignite a national debate about law, order, and the limits of federal power, forcing Americans everywhere to confront uncomfortable questions. The line between protest and riot had been crossed, and the consequences would echo far beyond Paramount's borders. As the world watched, Paramount became a symbol, a city under siege, and a nation at a crossroads. The violence erupting in Los Angeles sent shockwaves through the nation, prompting an immediate and dramatic response from Washington. The city, already on edge, became the epicenter of a growing national crisis, as images of unrest dominated headlines and social media feeds. The Trump administration invoked the rarely used Insurrection Act, deploying 2,000 National Guard troops under direct federal command. Military vehicles rolled through city streets, signaling a new phase in the government's approach to restoring order. Governor Newsom quickly condemned the federal intervention, calling it both reckless and inflammatory. He argued that such actions risked escalating tensions rather than calming them, and accused Washington of undermining state authority. Tensions soared even higher as Defense Secretary Hegseth warned that, if unrest continued, Marines could be mobilized to support the National Guard. The possibility of active-duty troops on American streets alarmed many observers. Local leaders, including LA's mayor, accused ICE of terrorizing immigrant communities and criticized the lack of coordination between federal and local agencies. Many residents felt caught in the crossfire of political conflict. The White House insisted that military intervention was necessary because local police refused to cooperate with ICE, further deepening the rift between federal and state authorities. Disputes over the number of troops and the scope of federal involvement fueled accusations of political theater, with both sides blaming each other for the chaos. As clashes continued, Los Angeles became the battleground for a fierce and unprecedented struggle over who truly controls law and order in America, with the nation watching anxiously. The aftermath in Paramount was fear and confusion. The city, once bustling with daily life, now felt eerily silent. Streets that had been filled with chants and marching feet were deserted, echoing with uncertainty. Immigrant families locked themselves inside, terrified of raids and violence. Many parents whispered reassurances to their children, but their own voices trembled with worry. The sense of safety they once felt in their homes was shattered. Injuries mounted, deputies, civilians, and federal agents were hurt. Emergency responders rushed from one chaotic scene to another, overwhelmed by the scale of the unrest. Arrests came from all sides, protesters, bystanders, and those targeted by ICE. Confusion reigned as people were swept up, some simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. Videos of burning cars and tear gas went viral, sparking outrage nationwide. Social media feeds filled with raw, unfiltered footage, fueling debates and amplifying anger far beyond Paramount. The government insisted the raids targeted criminals, but many saw only intimidation and chaos. For countless residents, the official narrative rang hollow, replaced by fear and distrust. FBI officials promised more arrests, vowing to restore order. Their words, however, did little to calm a community already on edge. Two narratives emerged, one of law enforcement, one of oppression. Each side claimed truth, deepening the rift between neighbors and families. The digital age ensured the world was watching, and the story was no longer controlled by officials. Every moment was broadcast, dissected, and shared in real time. Paramount became a symbol of America's deepening divide, its struggles echoing across the nation and forcing a reckoning with the meaning of justice and belonging. As the National Guard patrolled LA, a question lingered. Was this law enforcement or federal overreach? Supporters called it a necessary response to lawlessness and sanctuary policies. Critics, including state leaders, saw it as an abuse of power and a dangerous precedent. Viral videos fueled outrage, showing what many called excessive force. The line between order and oppression blurred. The conflict exposed deep national divisions. The answers to these questions will shape the future of American law enforcement.